Honestly, a distinctive accent is essential to becoming an effective whodunit detective. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainly Movies. Today I'm going to be ranking the 3 films of the Knives Out franchise as part of my franchise Rankography series. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content, like reviews, rank lists, and recommendations. So, what is a Rankography exactly? Well, it's my ranking of a filmography, whether that be a director's output, an actor's appearances, or even an entire franchise. My rankographies are based on personal preference, and I rank movies according to how much I enjoyed them rather than any specific technical merit or attribute. Remember, this is just my ranking, not the ranking, so be sure to post your own personal ranking of the Knives Out franchise in the comments below. I love a good whodunit. Despite the name, the mystery of these stories isn't just about the who, but also the how and why. Whodunit murder mysteries are a genre that has had both its past peaks and lulls in popularity, but we're currently in the midst of a resurgence, kicked off in large part due to this very franchise, along with Kenneth Branagh's Poirot revival films. Although this franchise is currently referred to by its Knives Out moniker, director Rian Johnson has expressed interest in changing the subtitle to Benoit Blanc Mysteries, and for good reason. Daniel Craig's Southern gentleman Hercule Poirot-ish detective is a big draw for this franchise, and the only character tying together these loosely connected films. Offering up a fun blend of throwback whodunit and fresh mystery modernity, this is a franchise that I really enjoy, which makes the task of ranking very difficult, because there are no movies that I dislike here. I've already reviewed all 3 of these movies on this channel, so if you want to check those out for some more in-depth thoughts on each of them, I'll put links in the description below, and I'll also link them up in the cards as we go along. Alright, let's get this rankography started. Coming in at number 3, Wake Up Dead Man. To me, there's not a bad movie in the bunch, but one of the hazards of ranking franchises is the fact that something has to come in last place. So even though I still enjoy this movie quite a bit, it is definitely my least favorite of the 3 movies. This is the 3rd film in the franchise, and the 2nd standalone sequel, once again featuring only Detective Benoit Blanc as a returning character, with the rest of the ensemble being made up of an entirely new cast. This movie is still very recognizable as a Knives Out film, but it feels like a bit of an outlier within the franchise. With its church setting, focus on themes like faith and redemption, and a significantly darker, more serious tone, this entry feels different than its predecessors. It's got a certain weight to it, perhaps substituting for some of the wit of the other 2 movies, resulting in a film that's less playful and not quite as fun. That tonal shift may be a big part of things, but there are other elements that contribute to this outlier feeling as well. Bizarrely, the character of Benoit Blanc is noticeably reduced here, almost playing second fiddle to some of the other characters. Blanc is still great when he's there, but he's simply not as much of a focus in this film, and doesn't even make his first appearance until nearly 45 minutes into the movie. Instead, Josh O'Connor's Father Duplessis feels much more like a main character here. That's not a bad thing. He's great in the role, very earnest and soulful, but it's definitely a different vibe than a Blanc-driven story. The outlier quality extends to the structure of the movie, too. This is more of a traditional whodunit, without all the structural bells and whistles of the previous films. It's a locked room, impossible murder mystery, which always has plenty of potential, but the contrived solution brings things down a little bit for me here. The who is easy enough to figure out, but the how of this mystery is overly complex, preventing the audience from playing along in any satisfying way. Coming in at number 2, Knives Out. I have to say, it's not often that the first film in a franchise ends up smack in the middle of a ranking for me. As one of the progenitors of the current resurgence in whodunit popularity, this film introduced not only a playful and fun revivalist twist on the genre, but also our intrepid Southern detective Benoit Blanc, played entertainingly by Daniel Craig. Like all of the movies in this franchise, this film has some obvious inspirations, and in particular invokes Agatha Christie. The style of the mystery, the atmosphere and setting, and of course, the character of Benoit Blanc, who, with his verbose, methodical brilliance and strong accent, is instantly reminiscent of Christie's famed detective, Hercule Poirot, just sans mustache. Benoit Blanc is certainly a highlight here, and perhaps his most entertaining appearance in the franchise. Along with Blanc, Knives Out features a star-studded ensemble cast, playing a dysfunctional and largely unlikable rich family. A lot of the movie's humor stems from family drama, which doesn't always work for me personally, but the humor of Blanc goes a long way towards counterbalancing things. That said, I do think there are too many characters and suspects in this movie. This is certainly a feature of many whodunit films, and not an issue that's exclusive to this movie by any means, but a lot of the characters are underutilized here. Luckily, that doesn't negatively affect the mystery at hand. If you watch a lot of movies, you'll probably be able to guess certain elements of this one, but this movie offers a satisfyingly multi-layered story with a brilliant mystery plot, flipping the script on the who of whodunit, with well-placed reveals and even better-placed withholdings. This is a movie that's exceptionally good at keeping the audience invested, and also at giving them enough information to actually play along with the investigation. So that means my number one Knives Out film is Glass Onion. I realize that I'm probably in the minority of people with this particular placement, but something about this one has spoken to me ever since I saw it at its premiere at TIFF in 2022. This was the first of the standalone sequels in the franchise, and like all of the other movies, draws upon past mystery films, but still mixes things up to create something new. This isn't just another Knives Out. It doesn't just deliver a rehash of that first movie, but instead is a very differently structured and styled film. This time around, Benoit Blanc and an eclectic group of people are invited to a billionaire's private island to play a murder mystery game that becomes all too real soon enough. This one takes its inspiration from The Last of Sheila, but then adds a detective into the mix, with Blanc required to deduce who the perpetrator is from a pool of suspects that all seem equally motivated. In this film, the donut hole in the donut's hole is swapped out for layers and layers of an onion. Like its immediate predecessor, Glass Onion features a series of well-placed reveals that make for an incredibly interesting story, with satisfying complexity rather than frustrating convolution. There are a few points in this movie where the audience is presented with key revelatory information that completely changes the context of things we saw earlier in the film, requiring us and Benoit Blanc to take an entirely new approach to solving the mystery. The ensemble cast is great, and even though they're almost all fairly unlikable characters again, they aren't irritating in the same way. And the screenplay is better able to balance their focus, so nobody really feels sidelined. The tech-centric nature of the story and the pop culture references strewn throughout the film may prevent this movie from having the longevity of other whodunits, but its snappy style and humor make for an extremely entertaining movie. It might sound like such a simple thing to say, but Glass Onion is just a lot of fun. While remaining in the same vein as Knives Out, this sequel goes even bigger, without ever becoming too extravagant. It's just a highly enjoyable and entertaining mystery that manages to be even more satisfyingly crafted than its predecessor. Alright, so that's my rankography of the Knives Out franchise. Dozens of suspects, 3 films, but only one Benoit Blanc. What does your ranking look like? I'd love to see some reasoning for your order, so be sure to post it in the comments below. Remember, I've already reviewed all 3 of these movies, so you could check those videos out if you want some more in-depth discussion of each, as well as my ratings, pros and cons, and even tailored film recommendations. And if you're interested in buying any of these movies, I do have affiliate links for most of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you use them if you're in the market for any of these movies or anything else. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this rankography, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe if you're at it to see more rankographies like this, as well as movie reviews. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.